Well, hello friends, pro-life leader Frank Pavone here, National Director of Priests for Life. Welcome to my daily diary segment where I let you know what I did every day from morning to night. Today I want to cover the days from Sunday, the 18th of February through Friday, the 23rd of February of 2024. What did I do? Well, on Sunday I was here at my office. Sunday, time of worship, time of prayer, time also for our live broadcast at 10 a.m. of the Scripture Reflections. Had a lot of preparatory work to do for upcoming events, so I did that work at my desk. I worked on some spots also that need to be taped, and also other details in regard to studio taping that was going to be done in the coming days. And I did some writing, and then that consumed the morning into the early afternoon. At 3:30, I was picked up for a ride to the airport, where I then caught an evening flight to Nashville. What I always do is either do reading or emails there on the plane, and did so on my way there to Nashville. Got there, went over to the hotel where I was going to be staying for the National Religious Broadcasters Convention. In fact, when I got there, I already started seeing people who were arriving for this big convention, thousands actually of religious broadcasters, of which I am obviously one. So let's see. Now that conference then began and would be lasting for the next few days. So let me give you a little bit of an idea of that conference as well as my other activities. So Monday, February 19th was basically a setup day for the conference. I started with an early interview at 7:20 in the morning, had Jenna Ellis interview me for her radio show, and then we had, I started networking with the people who were arriving, went down for breakfast, and then essentially did that all day. There was the exhibit area being set up. There was the media row, broadcast row being set up. Various booths are set up next to each other of different radio broadcasters, TV networks, podcasters. And most of them know me, and we would just have various interviews. You'll see that was a big part of this whole week. And then going in between that and checking in on my staff and on my email, I dealt with such things as our Hispanic outreach, talking points about our national poll, social media department contact, March mini catalog. I had to give approval to that. Arrangements with something called Marystown to be on more of their conference calls. Promotion of the app, See Baby Grow, email work for approving messages that would be going out, flight plans for future trips, an article about the elections that I communicated with our political outreach coordinator about a joint statement of pro-life leaders, following up on that. That was a result of our leadership meeting. News sources, talking about that with some of our staff that puts out news reports. And also some work in regarding the prospecting mailing that we are doing. But all of that was just in between this greeting, the gathering, slowly gathering National Religious Broadcasters Conference, which was really beautiful, and the engines started getting underway. The engines were in full gear the next day, Tuesday, February the 20th. I started off with early breakfast, like 6 a.m. I worked on some emails early on, flight work, again, more things about the app, emails going out for the primary elections in various states, a report on the state of abortion in the pro-life movement from the National Right to Life Committee, preparing various projects, and then a poster that we have, sort of like a mini report about our different projects, is being updated, and I did some interaction with staff about that. At 8:15, I had a Skype interview that I did. Then I went down and began networking, going between the general registration area, the exhibit area, and the media area, doing various interviews along the way. A lot of these just unscheduled. I would go there, people that I I know would say, hey, you want to come on the radio or come back in a half hour, things like that. There was a special media awards luncheon at 11 a.m., and I attended that. Followed at noon by a phone call with President Trump's campaign, and followed after that with another interview at 2 o'clock, another interview at 4 o'clock, and a lot of visits in between, some other interviews in between that were not scheduled. But it was just fabulous being with friends new and old from the whole world of religious broadcasting, and that took up the whole day and into the evening as I continued to meet the people who were arriving. That was Tuesday the 20th. Wednesday the 21st, even more intensity with the National Religious Broadcasters. Again, started at 6 with an early breakfast, and then did a lot of networking and interviewing. And then at 11 o'clock, a special, 11:15 or so, a special lunch with representatives from Ba Radio Network, which has been a friend and ally for decades, actually. And we talked about work to get the word out for this election. Then another interview at 1 o'clock. And then final networking with folks in the exhibit area until I had to leave for the airport at 4 o'clock because I was flying then from Nashville to Washington, D.C. Did some work on the plane as usual, got into D.C., settled in the hotel. And that hotel was bustling with activity because I was there to take part in the CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference. Some of the things I had to do, however, via email. Silent No More brochure, we're reprinting it, gave a final approval for that. More things about the See Baby Grow app. Election appeal, approved that. An ad for the upcoming Heartbeat Conference, approved that. More on that. Project poster, I told you about the updates on that. And also an ad that we're putting out online about our broadcasting here on endabortion.tv. That was Wednesday the 21st. Now, Thursday the 22nd, things got underway with CPAC. Now, this is a major political action conference. And so, friends, again, old and new, I started out at 6 a.m. with an interview down in the broadcast area. And that was just like the day before, by the way, at the National Religious Broadcasters. That's when the interviews began, 6 in the morning. So likewise here at CPAC the next day, Thursday the 22nd, 6 a.m. interview, one, and then followed by another, then breakfast, then went back and did more interviews, met with more people in the exhibit area, and it was fantastic. High energy all day long, side meetings, conversations, strategy updates, people who didn't know about our work, introducing them to it, and all the rest like that, literally going throughout the day. There were times I would just stand in the hallway and, you just think of this big convention center and just crowds walking by and just stand there and all different people coming up to me and connecting. Some of you, no doubt, were there because people were telling me that they watch these programs. And Right Side Broadcasting was there, and we were on with them as well. Some more communication with the Trump campaign and some more work in regard to our national poll, including approving a press release for that, were also some of the things I had to do on the side, checking in on my email and checking in with my staff. Same pattern all day and into the night, and also our communications director was there at this conference as well, and so I was touching base with her also during the course of the day. And then finally, Friday the 23rd, full day of CPAC. Presentations, talks, interviews, exhibit area, all of that, just filling the whole day. In the morning, the first interview was with the Real America's Voice, a TV show, Dr. Gina Ludon and others there. I was able to sit with them and share some thoughts at the beginning of the day. Bishop Joseph Strickland was there at the conference too. And then part of the day was I had a meeting with him and his Associate Deacon Keith, who's been a friend for decades. He's been on some of these programs. They both have. And so we were making some plans for upcoming activities. You've heard about the Pro-Life University and different broadcasts we're going to do together. And so we were making some plans, and that was a good meeting. And then just meeting with countless other people. Checked in a little bit with my office and on emails, media interviews coming up that I had to approve, broadcast schedule for the following week that I had to okay, spots to work on for TV and radio, giving approval on those things, and also connecting a little bit with our studio team to talk about reorganizing of things in the studio. And then on the evening of Friday, the 23rd, from 7 to 11 was the Ronald Reagan dinner. It was a great, great event. And one of the speakers was Bishop Strickland, and he inspired the crowd. Some of you have seen that talk. And that concluded the day. And that concluded the week that I'm reporting to you about today. So that's what I did. I hope your activities are fruitful. And if you'll just allow me one more thought, we all have critics. And, our critics, they have this tendency to think that they know us better than we know ourselves. So I'm just waiting to see. I'm waiting to hear. I haven't heard it yet. I haven't seen it yet. Where's the Daily Diary update from my critics? I'd like to see what they have been doing day by day, morning, noon, and night. And the same level of detail that I'm giving. Doesn't have to be any more than that. But hello out there. Come on, critics. Let's have the same level of transparency before you start criticizing things you don't know. All right, friends. Thanks for indulging me on that. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. We will talk to you soon.